Good afternoon, and thank you for your patience. Welcome to the Caribbean Examination Council's media briefing on the recent examination breach for CSEC Mathematics Paper 2. Dr. Wayne Wesley, Registrar and Chief Executive Officer of CXC, will be delivering a statement in 1 minute, and we just ask that you all await the question and answer session, which will follow. Thank you. Dr. Wesley.
Thank you very much, Richard. Good afternoon to all, or well, afternoon in some cases, morning to others. Welcome to our press conference reporting on the investigation into examination breach. We are thankful that you are able to join us this afternoon. On Wednesday, May 17th, 2023, the Caribbean Examinations Council launched an investigation following concerns that the Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate Mathematics Paper 2 was leaked prior to the administration of the examination on that day. CXC has been in constant contact with the regional ministries of education since this information came to light. CXC has now concluded its investigation. The security measures which were implemented by CXC, these measures are now being used to validate and to check on when there are breaches. The security measures which CXC has put in place has led to us locating the country as Jamaica and the examination center there, where the leak originated. In discussion with the Ministry of Education Youth, the matter will be dealt with following CXC's security protocols. CXC and regional ministries of education recognize that candidates have spent months preparing for their mathematics Paper 2 examinations. The news of the security breach of the examination has caused much anxiety and concern. As a result of the breach and the compromise of the examination, as well as consideration for mental health and well-being of our candidates, and timely release of results along with matriculation requirements, CXC has determined that grades for this examination will be awarded using the modified approach. The modified approach entails assessment of the school-based assessment, which includes paper 3-2, and paper 1, which is the multiple choice paper. This decision was communicated to the regional ministries of education in our meeting this morning. CXC would like to reassure candidates that the security of the regional examination, is paramount, and their best interests continue to be at the center of the organization's decisions and processes. CXC will continue to provide updates as and when necessary, and would advise stakeholders to monitor CXC's official communication channels for information, including our website, www.cxc.org, our Facebook page at MyCXC, our YouTube channel at MyCXC, LinkedIn channel at MyCXC as well, and our Twitter account at MyCXC. For further information, we ask that you rely on these sources to make sure that you are receiving credible and timely information. This entire episode has really been of great concern, and we continue to do what is in the best interest of our candidates as we protect the integrity of the examination process. We recognize that the matter requires a great level of sensitivity, confidentiality, but at the same time being accorded the level of urgency that is required to allay the concerns of our most critical stakeholders. We have activated our communication channel to ensure, or instead our communication protocol, to ensure that the requisite and timely release of information to our stakeholders were adhered to. Today's press conference is to ensure that the public is aware that we have taken this matter seriously and would have done the requisite due diligence to ensure that the matter is treated with the urgency it deserves. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming. And I will now open the floor for any questions, concerns that you may have. Richard?
Thank you, Dr. Wesley. And we will, as Dr. Wesley just mentioned, we'll now move to the question and answer segment. Please raise your hands using the raise hand facility, stating your full name and media house. Once acknowledged, please proceed to ask your question. In the meantime, also note that we also have online Dr. Nicole Manning, Director of Operations. Thank you. The floor is now open for questions.
Hi, good day.
Good day.
Yes, Colvin Muncie from Nation News. I have two questions. And in the interest of time, I'll ask both. Could you tell me how widespread or contained the leak was? Did it go beyond Jamaica, or was it limited also internally in Jamaica? Was it limited to just one school, two schools in Jamaica? And then secondly, given that this breach is one of several in recent years, do you see this as damaging to the credibility of CXC? And what steps are being taken to prevent future occurrences of this nature?
Okay, so thank you very much for that question. The matter of how widespread, I think the information was shared right across social media and various platforms. It would have reached many countries, many reports would have been made about persons who would have had access to the information. However, as it relates to the source of the leak, we could pinpoint that source to one location, as we have indicated, based on the multiple information which would have been available to us. So we would have identified the location where the leak originated. As to the extent that would still be something that we would have to investigate further outside in terms of giving you precisely the number of countries, but it was really widespread right across the region with that we would have indicated had access to the information. But the source of the leak was critical to us, and it's what we would have reported on. Any breach of the security of our examinations and its impact on the integrity of our processes would be of great concern to us. And we would have taken those breaches and leaks seriously, and we would have acted with the kind of urgency that is needed with this particular situation. We would have been enhancing our security provision over the years, and we would have been executing on some of those by conducting audits of all our regional apparatus within member states to ensure that the requisite mechanisms and systems are in place. We would have updated our protocol with certain things. We would have rethink our custody management protocols. So all those would have been in place. But one of the things you will have to also appreciate that with the greatest of system that you have in place, it is still dependent on humans executing, and the integrity of those persons who are entrusted with the system or who would have access to our system. Now, the extent to which the integrity of those individuals who we have entrusted the system with will determine the overall security and integrity of the process. So we are always concerned about any particular breach of our security and hence the integrity of the examination process.
Thank you, Dr. Wesley. Is there a follow-up there, or you're...
I'm not sure whether you're hearing me. My name is Dennis Chabrol. I'm from Demerara, Wales in Guyana. I would like to know, Dr. Wesley, whether indeed the CXC has been able to pinpoint who exactly was responsible for this breach, whether the person or persons have been identified, and whether the Jamaican police have been called in.
We have ensured we are capable of indicating the location and where. We have not named any particular individual. We have reported this to the ministry, and we are working with them as we seek to have the definitive remedy to the situation. We have not yet called in the police in this regard, but all those are options available to us as we seek to go further in what has transpired.
And a follow-up, sir, I wasn't asking you to name the person or persons. I was asking whether you've been able to identify who they are. And as a follow-up also, can you say how many countries did this leak actually spread to across the Caribbean?
So I have not, well, the number, there is many across the region for which the information was shared. In fact, given the fact that there are groups within which members from the entire region would participate in, that's chat groups and WhatsApp, because with social media, the entire region is connected through that. So I will not limit it to any particular geographical location, given the number of submissions that were made to us through our fresh desk and information system, pretty much from around the region. I will perhaps ask Nicole if she has that data available to perhaps speak definitively to the number, but from all indication, it was right across the region.
And can you say whether the person has been identified?
As I said before, we have identified the location and we have down to the center where it occurred. And from in that respect, one could therefore narrow that down in varying ways, but we have not named any particular individual. We would have indicated to the respective member state that the particular location and where the breach had occurred. But we have not named any individual.
Thank you, Dr. Wesley. Next question.
Yes, just a follow-up question. Carvel Munzi here again. No, we can appreciate that this press conference would allay fears for many students for the remainder of the exams. However, in the interim, before the press conference, before this news will break today that there will be no receipt, there were students that would have taken exams yesterday and today under what some might consider some sort of duress and stress, given what would have transpired and the uncertainty surrounding the resolution of the breach. Any consideration for those students taking those two exams in those last 2 days?
Well, we do have processes in place that will be able to assess whether or not there has been undue pressure on students as a result of this. We normally take those situations in consideration when we are going through our grading and marking process to see what happens. And the fact that you have raised it is something that we'll have on our radar during our quality assurance processes, because those 2 days are critical. It would have been per, Wednesday and Thursday. Yes, so we do have ways of determining what impact, how to treat with, any particular psychosocial or mental stress that students would undergo as a result of this leak. Bear in mind, though, that this leak is only restricted to the CSEC Mathematics Paper 2. But I understand the concerns you have raised.
Thank you, Dr. Wesley. We'll now go to Johnny Baptiste. I think that's the name.
Okay, so my first question, how does this breach affect paper 1?
Well, given our investigation today, paper 1 is still under extreme and even now greater security. The breach did not occur with paper 1, it occurred with paper 2.
Okay, and secondly, how do you plan to, I don't want to use the word prevent, but a repeat of something like this recurring?
Well, as is customary or is expected, normally once there's a breach of your protocol, you would have to conduct a review of the activity and what would have led to this particular situation. As I said to you, we have been reviewing and enhancing our custody management processes right across the region with respect to paper delivery prior to the examinations. And so we are in the process of right now conducting regional audits of all our local operations to ensure that they are conforming to our security protocol. We would have done other security measures and developed other capabilities with our securities, which I won't necessarily say here, but it is important to know that we are constantly monitoring and doing what is required. In this particular case, we have asked that all papers from that center be removed immediately so that we can continue to guarantee that the papers are indeed protected and prevented from any person who want to access those papers illegally. But yes, we have been enhancing, upgrading, and putting in additional security measures to help us in this regard. But as I said before, these are all systems that are still predicated on the integrity of human beings being the person responsible to manage these processes. And that is of great concern. We can't necessarily legislate morality, but unfortunately among us, we do have situations where those traits are not necessarily forthcoming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baptiste. Just a quick point. Colleagues, can you kindly state your name and media house as you ask your questions? We'll now move to Marlon Madden.
Hi, Marlon Madden, Barbados Today. I want to find out if Mr. Wesley could at least name the parish in which the leak took place, or what section of the island.
No, again, because of the sensitivity and concern, we would have communicated to the respective Ministry of Education, and I think we need to give them the opportunity to do what is required as they execute their own local protocol. I am just prepared to make mention that we have located the center in Jamaica.
Also, I wanted to go back to an issue that was raised up to last year when there were students and parents making allegations of erroneous grades for 2020, 2021, and last year. I want to find out if those have been resolved and what assurance you can give at this time that we would not, have this repeat.
Okay, so we would have resolved all matters brought to our attention. There are still matters out there which I don't, I'm not aware of, but we have addressed all matters that were brought to our attention. And Teddy and Nicole, are you aware of any other grades to be set from those periods? Because I think we would have addressed all concerns then.
Yes, closed all those. Good afternoon, everyone. All of those matters would have been closed In fact, we would want to say that even requests for reviews have been reduced drastically, which means that that level of satisfaction has also increased.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, for those who have asked questions, can you kindly lower your hands unless you have another question? We now move to Mr. Dennis Chabro.
Yes, thank you, sir. I would like to ask what were the pros and cons of you
What media
having a
house are
brand
you
new
from,
paper
Mr.
in
Chabro?
order to secure the full integrity of the paper that was breached?
What media house is that, Mr. Chabro?
I'm asking, sir, why didn't you go the route of having a brand new paper set rather than making a sort of an amendment to the process in order to ensure or to guarantee to the public the full integrity of the paper?
I think what he was asking, sir, was your name and the media house from which you.
Sorry, Dr. Wesley, I did ask the question earlier. My name is Dennis Chabral, and I'm from Demerara Waves in Guyana.
Okay, I guess he didn't hear. But yes, the integrity. Can you repeat the question? I got lost in that conversation.
Yes, I'm asking Dr. Wesley, why didn't the CXC go the route of setting up a brand new paper rather than amending the process for the paper that was breached?
Yeah, so we would have taken into consideration several factors, one of which is the mental state of our students to go through a similar exercise immediately after, as well as the need for having results ready by a particular time for matriculation into universities. Certainly, that would have been something we contemplated, but given where we are within the cycle of our examinations and what has transpired, the decision was made to move with the modified approach, which would have the least social, what you call mental impact on our students. So that is why we moved in that direction. But we did, in our initial deliberation, consider the setting of a new paper and when that would be, given that the examination cycle is already in process. It perhaps would have to be more towards the end, and then that would impact the timelines for the release of results. So the release of results and the need for persons to matriculate, understanding that mathematics is one of the subjects that are required by all students in particular. And so we came on the side where we are cognizant of the particular health and well-being of our candidates.
Thank you, Dr. Wesley, and thank you, Mr. Chabral. Ms. Asha Wilkes.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Asha Wilkes from the Gleaner Company in Jamaica. My first question is, will the markings of the paper be affected by the leak discovered?
Well, the marking, can you explain when you said the marking?
Markings of paper, math paper 2.
Yeah, so that paper is no longer being used. The modified approach, as I indicated in my statement, will be the assessment of paper 1 and the assessment of the SBA, as well as paper 3.2. Well, paper 3.2 is the written version of the SBA, but it is those two components that will be assessed in order for us to award a grade to a candidate. So paper 3.2, because it has been, paper 2, because it has been compromised, we will not use that.
Okay, all right, thank you for that. My second question is, there are concerns over a regular occurrence, perhaps yearly occurrence of a leak of a paper. Is there any consideration for the digitization of the exam instead?
We have given that consideration from as way back as 2007, and we are trying to get the region to be ready for full electronic testing. In fact, this year we are now capable of doing all our multiple choice examinations electronically, and we are moving soon to have similar situations for paper 2. However, given the vast difference among the region with respect to the IT infrastructure that is required for the administration of electronic testing, we have to be working currently with the ministries on a particular schedule that will see us over a period of time implementing fully electronic testing. But we have started that process, and we are hoping that it will move quickly in the right direction. I think what COVID has done for us would have emphasized or placed a lot of focus currently within the ministries of education across the region for the utilization and development of digital infrastructure. While we don't see it as the panacea, it will certainly help in advancing and increasing the level of security surrounding our examinations. Of course, then you will now have cybersecurity to deal with, but it will give us greater control as to when exams are dispatched and ready, because it is on the morning that we would release the exam and not necessarily a couple of days before, given the terrain and the geographical areas that we will have to cover for the execution of an exam in any one country.
Okay, thank you. My last question is in relation to any update you could provide for Steertown Academy, who an investigation was launched in January after it was found out that examination papers were given to students before sitting the exam.
Yeah, well, that issue would have been investigated and is currently with the local authorities to handle and treat it. And I think they are taking the requisite action that's the requisite actions necessary. And I think they are continuing with that process. So outside of the fact that it would have been detected and work is being done, I can't provide you with any more information at this time. You would have to perhaps speak with the local representative in that regard.
Okay, but you can confirm that the investigation is still ongoing.
I suspect that it is still ongoing, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you so much, I appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you. Caroline James. Ms. Caroline James.
Good afternoon, Caroline James, Keyman Compass. My question, Dr. Wesley, is regarding whether the investigation has pinpointed a motive behind the leak. Specifically, if you're aware at this stage, if any money changed hands in exchange for access to the exam, and if so, if you're able to say how much. Thank you.
No, I'm unable to confirm any change of funds or money for the exams. I can't really speak to a motive other than given the nature of high stakes examinations, persons would want to have an advantage, and by any means, and perhaps this is an indication that persons were trying to get ahead. But as to a motive and monetary implications, I can't really speak to that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wesley. Thank you, Ms. James. Any further questions before we close off? Mr. Madden again, please proceed.
Yes, please. I wanted to be sure to find out from Mr. Wesley if there are plans to call in the police, because some are saying this is tantamount to a criminal act.
As I'm saying to you, we have not ruled out any possibility of any particular option available to us. We, as I said, we are taking this in stages, and we have already communicate with the local authorities there with respect to the Ministry of Education, and we will work with them as we seek to bring closure to this particular episode. But CXC has not at this moment called in any security police apparatus to assist.
Thank you for that question. Mr. Baptiste and Ms. Wilkes, are these old hands?
Yes. Am I on?
We can hear you, Mr. Baptiste.
Yeah, so my question, so can we say that the exam results this year, incoming results, is it going to be an easier, would we say that it's an easier exam because we're grading from SBA and the multiple choice? Or how does that affect, you know, our result? How can we look at it? How will we be looking at it, let's say come late August, September, when our
Right.
results out?
Right. So as I said, we do have a robust quality assurance system in-house that reviews all grades and ensuring that they are reflective of the abilities of our students, the competencies they have demonstrated. It will be assessed along those lines. The nature of the exam still remains the same because all three components would be reflective of the syllabus coverage, particularly our multiple choice paper. It's normally reflective of the entire syllabus, so over the 60 questions that one would have to respond to. And then our SBAs would give another set of dimensions on problem solving and all those other competencies and skills. So because we have used it in the past and it has worked several times, we are confident that we are still able to offer valid and reliable grades to students. We don't necessarily assess based on while the level of demand is important with respect to one exam over the 1 year to another, it is crucial that we pay attention to the competencies and skills being demonstrated by the students in these two papers.
Yeah, but I mean, some critique can say that, you know, a multiple choice is a multiple choice. You can, by luck, you can get a 50 out of 60. And for your SBA, I mean, again, it's something that maybe it wasn't supervised 100%. I could have assisted my neighbors with the SBA, and probably my neighbor would have gotten full marks. So, yeah. You know, I'm just looking at the legitimacy of grading from those two papers. You know?
Well, we have found it to work quite well in terms of its ability to predict what the grade would be, or to at least be representative of what the grade would be. As I said, our quality assurance mechanisms are in place to ensure that students are not disadvantaged.
So there will be no adjustment made to the paper one. It will be the regular 60 multiple choice questions.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Baptiste. Dr. Wesley, we're okay. We'll see if there are any other questions coming through. There's one question in the chat. We're hoping to get the media else. If other students from around the region are found to have shared the paper or utilized it, will they be disciplined?
Sorry, what was your question, Richard?
If other students from around the region are found to have shared the paper or utilized it, will they be disciplined?
Wherever you have breach of security or breach of examinations, and it can be proven that an individual is culpable, then the requisite sanctions will have to be administered. But currently, we also have to appreciate that the breach of the examinations, where it originates, is of importance, right? And if it can be proven that it was a student who get to that paper and leak it before the examination, certainly the requisite disciplinary action would be taken. But for the time being, we have not done any kind of work to in that regard, to have students being punished, penalized for the leak of an examination paper.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wesley. That was from Paula Lindo, Trinidad and Tobago News Day. If there are no further questions, Dr. Wesley, I'll give you the final word.
Yes, well, I just want to express again how deeply concerning this is for the Caribbean Examinations Council, given the tremendous work of staff and our resource persons in ensuring the preparation of an examination for the region and to ensure we're supporting human capital development. It is always unfortunate when situations of this nature occurs, but it is important that we continue to protect and do what is necessary for the integrity of our examination and to continue to build trust and confidence. We recognize that given the urgency and the sensitivity of this matter, that it was important that we move swiftly in ensuring that students would not suffer any enduring length of uncertainty. And I think today's effort is to try and ensure that the system is not overly stressed because of the leaking of the mathematics paper. We thank you today for your questions and answers. We will continue to work with the ministries of education across the region to ensure that we are putting in place all the systems required to protect the integrity of the examination for the region. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you taking the time to be with us this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you once again. Thank you, Dr. Wesley, and have a good weekend. Thank you.
Thank you.